You know, women always say chivalry is dead, and we always say women killed it, but is it really dead? I think most people actually still observe chivalry, at least in the US.
I lived in a different country for almost a year, and one thing that became very apparent to me is the fact that chivalry is very much not dead in America. I lived in Germany, so maybe this is a Germany specific thing. But in Germany, men will not open the door for you, they will not go out of their way to help you. Essentially, they will not treat you any differently than they would
As
a man.
equals.
And it's because in Germany there is this fierce equality of the sexes, but not even equality. They just view women as the exact same as men, meaning why would they go out of their way to do something extra for women when women are just as capable of doing it
Correct?
themselves? I will give you a couple of more concrete examples. So, when I was moving back to the United States from Germany, I did not ship any of my stuff. I just carried four very, very heavy suitcases through the airport. Obviously, I checked my bags, but I had to get them through the airport to check them. Anyways, when I was in the German airport, everyone just kind of looked at me like I was crazy. No one offered to help, nothing like that. But it becomes very apparent when I touched down in the United States, and I touched down like Seattle or Salt Lake City or something was my connecting flight, and you have to recheck your bag. And when I tell you I did not pick up a single one of my suitcases from the
I always say it. American men are the nicest men out of most other countries. We were raised a little bit differently and raised to be much nicer. So,
conveyor belt because someone helped me every single time.
I find it interesting a lot of times when I see women that come on these apps and they have these crazy stories how they got on a train and nobody would get up for them, or they went to the airport and nobody would help them with their luggage, and so on and so forth, right? They going out the door and nobody wants to help them when they're going out the door. And I find that suspicious. Maybe it's a one-off. Maybe it's just where they at the time, whatever, right? Maybe it's the guys that's observing them. And I'm talking about here in America because in most places that I go to, even myself, let's say I'm traveling with my daughter and my wife or something like that, and somebody else, an older lady or a lady needs help or whatever, her bag looks too heavy. I'll ask her, hey, you want me to grab that for you real quick or something like that? Because I'm already grabbing mines and I'm grabbing my daughter's and all of that other stuff. And I'll ask, and that's just normal because it doesn't hurt me to do so. And
no, I'm with you, Anton. I'm very similar. You know, if someone needs help and I kind of see it, I'll ask. You know, same thing with the door thing. I hold the door for everybody. And I've noticed, at least where I live, US, US, in OC area or so, most people are very cordial. Most people kind of hold the door for you. Even I see even young gentlemen holding the door for me. And I'm like, my man.
and I also understand the men that say, nah, I'm gonna just focus on saving my back and not get into that. Because you do have women here in America that are incredibly liberal, that want to be like Germany, which is incredibly liberal. And when you look at the maturity of that country when it comes to their liberalism, this is what happens. You don't get chivalry. You get equal as far as how men look at women and how women look at men, even though inherently we are not equal. We are not the same when it comes to our nurturing. We are not the same when it comes to our mindset. We are not the same when it comes to masculinity versus femininity. We are not the same when it comes to our strength. We are not the same in any capacity. And so instead of recognizing how God made us and to lean into whatever it is that we are, we decided that because we've civilized the world and we've given women the opportunity to choose for themselves, do for themselves, and then we've even created programs and legislation to propel women forward, that somehow then qualifies a woman to consider herself equal on same levels as men when it comes to our masculinity or how things are supposed to go.
It's the whole equity thing, right? If I am 6'5", you know, and she's only 6 foot, we're gonna give her a 5 fucking inch box to stand on so she can be just as tall as me, so she can be equal to me now. But that's not how it really works.
Go. But see, the worst part about it is not that, right? You can feel however you want to feel. You can vote how you want to vote. I believe that the nature of who we are shows itself over time anyway. It doesn't really matter. I don't believe there's a woman that can outwork me. I don't believe that there's a woman.
I'm with Anton on this one. I do not believe there's a woman out there that can outwork me.
That's going to ever come in my life and you know, in some way, somehow be on the same level or whatever. And that's a good thing for me and them, because it allows for me to lean into what God has given me to protect those that are around me and to ensure that they don't have to use their energy on things that's not meaningful. When it comes to productivity and bringing home resources, you can focus more on things that's meaningful when it comes to nurturing and kids and helping and being awesome and being in your rest all the time, right? But I guess my point that I'm making is this is what Democrats would love to trend towards here in the U.S. But then they would complain about it because then they would say, well, there are no men that operate in their masculinity, and I can't tell who's the baddies now, right? So you got to pick one. Men like myself, we gonna operate how we gonna operate anyway.
Sure.
We're gonna move in our masculinity. We're gonna take care of the things we got to take care of.
Always.
And we just gonna divest ourselves from people that don't add value into our lives or who we don't think is aligning in the direction that we going in. That's why we got the bag chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And also, tune into the Millionaire Morning Show Monday through Friday in the 9 o'clock hour Eastern Standard Time. And we stream for about 4 hours and we cover all politics, popular culture, everything. But my point is, we gonna do what we gonna do. But if you really want that, then how come you don't embrace countries or places or even men in spaces in the U.S. in which men are more feminine or they more look at women as partners and say, let's go 50-50. No, you want traditionalism and you want to be able to say and do what you want to do when you want to do it.
What do we say? Feminism is like a buffet that they just want to pick all the great things that they want from it.
Cool. That's your preference. You don't always get everything you want, though.
Time. Like, I would say in a span of 20 minutes, at least 5 different people, and they all happen to be men, asked me if I needed help with my bags. And the sense of relief that I felt, because it was a very tough day. Those were very, very heavy suitcases, and it was stressful. It was hard to carry them all by myself. And the sense of relief that I felt coming back into the United States and having so many people ask me if I needed help to
And the women here take it for granted, and they're even entitled about it.
grab my bags from the conveyor belt. Difference between in Germany, when nobody even batted an eye, to America was just crazy. I also knew this man in Germany who, in his relationship, they have this app where they basically keep score of all the things that they do for each other.
Jesus.
So every time you do something, like you unload the dishwasher, you put it in this app and you get points. And so you look at who has more points than the other, and the person with less points needs to basically step up and do more things. And I just think that that is
equality.
the most German thing I have ever heard, because they are so equal. Going out of your way to do something nice for the other person, or a man wanting to do something nice for the woman, is just not really as much of a thing. It's not unheard of, but it's just not as much of a thing in their culture. Yeah, I just don't think that relationships are scorecards, but they literally have an app that keeps score. So if you've ever thought that chivalry is dead,
They say this, but women keep a good amount of scoring. I know women keep score all the time. I did this, I did that, you only did this, all you do is go to work, you don't even do anything at the house, so all of my points equal up to this. I'm pretty damn positive a lot of American women operate this way. They just don't have an actual physical app.
United States. It very much is alive and thriving.
Sometimes you have to go outside of the country and you have to remove yourself from it
We say this all the
before
time.
you come back to it for you to realize how good you have it. And that's not just when it
Sometimes you realize how good you have it, then you realize how good other places may be.
comes to chivalry or relationships, opportunity, advancement, infrastructure, politics, freedom of speech, all of those things are afforded to us. Safety, our military, our president. I just watched Spain get invaded by Moroccans, where they just came over 60,000 in just a couple of hours. You know, we are very fortunate and we are very blessed. Now, that doesn't mean that everything is perfect.
Of course.
It doesn't mean that everything is going to be great 100% of the time. Doesn't mean that you're not going to go through anything. But if you are a person that enjoys freedom, if you are a person that enjoys traditional values, if you are a person, even if you want to be liberal in the U.S., you can do that.
Yep.
The problem is a lot of people complain about the choices that they make or the results that they get from the choices that they make, and then they want to blame everybody else. You want to blame the government, you want to blame the white man, you want to blame men, you want to blame women, all of this stuff. And I just think that, you know, America is such a phenomenal country and a phenomenal place.
I agree.
And I even remember just a month ago, when people that was here from the World Cup was like, yo, I don't want to go home. I love it. I love the choices. I love the opportunity. I love everything that this country represents. And I have a bad perspective of what they tried to paint y'all as before I got here. But now I see things differently.